Welcome to Business Talk here on Business Tech, South Africa's #1 business news website. And it's time to go green. Well, there's clearly lots of interest in the budding cannabis industry, and some of you might have high expectations for cushy jobs. Let's just hope government plans aren't half-baked, or we might end up putting further strain on the economy. Seriously, though, have we hit the jackpot when it comes to cannabis? Okay, I'll stop with the cannabis puns. It really is an interesting and nascent sector in South Africa. And Timo Bongartz is general manager at Fluence, and he handles the EMEA region. Timo, great to have you on the show. Just explain who Fluence is and what is your role within the organization.
Yeah, first of all, Michael, it's a pleasure to be here in your show and talk about cannabis. It's a great topic. So yeah, I work for Fluence. Fluence is a lighting company specialized on plant growing. So we have LED solutions for all different kind of plants, for tomatoes, cucumbers, but also cannabis, of course. And my personal role, I'm the general manager for EMEA, which means Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And luckily, also South Africa falls into my territory, and that's why I'm happy to be on your talk here.
And why I find the cannabis industry so interesting is that it has this huge potential to be a real growth industry in South Africa. We're a country looking for growth, and it can be a big employer. But I think in many countries, it's legal to grow cannabis commercially, even for non-medicinal reasons, but it's not yet completely the case in South Africa. What progress are you seeing locally towards helping to make legal cannabis farming a reality?
Yeah, I think what is really great to see in South Africa is there's a lot of education going on around the topic of cannabis. There is, a lot of people are lobbying for it. And I think this is important that you have people who are interested to put it on the political agenda and to make an impact and to change. That said, in South Africa, that is my observation here from being located in Germany, it's somehow stuck in the political process. We have always this issue: who should drive these topics? Where does it belong to? Which regulatory body is responsible? Is this the SAFER, or is it you have also hemp growing? So it's always in between of topics and yeah. But generally, what I see in South Africa, high willingness to drive this topic forward in the society. There is knowledge, historical knowledge about cannabis growing, which is a great foundation. There is agriculture knowledge. So you have talent, you have desire, and now there must be the political, appetite and to really push it through. I think this is now the important next step.
Yeah, and sadly, I mean, what you speak about is what I see as well. This debate about whether or not it should sit inside SAPRA or be regulated in the agricultural department of government, because you've got the cannabis side, you've got the THC side, which is more medicinal. You've then got the hemp side, which is more an agricultural product. But I just think it's madness that, I was chatting to someone the other day who said some of the hemp panels or hemp components in the panels of the Mercedes-Benz, good German motor car that we manufacture and then export out of East London, is imported in a country where cannabis literally grows in large tracts across the country. It just seems absolutely ludicrous. Now, when it comes to the commercials of actually growing cannabis, and for Africans who might not understand the various capex and opex requirements of growing cannabis commercially, can you just unpack what the costs are, which are the most significant in this industry, and how all of that affects your return on investment if you're looking to become a commercial grower?
I think it's a great question because we see in more saturated markets like Canada that you see there the big companies are struggling with their P&L to have a good gross margin and at the end a good EBIT. So it's really important right at the beginning to have a good understanding about the capex and opex and understanding your ROI. So first thing, capex. We need to keep in mind we built the kind of plant factory to grow a product, in this case cannabis, which need to be very consistent, batch over batch, So that means we need to have technology in the greenhouse or in an indoor facility where we can ensure to produce a repeatable product, because patients and consumers demand that. You cannot have all of a sudden higher THC levels or lower, because we all want to, if we buy a product, a brand, we want to have the same product each and every time. That means we need to have investment into equipment like lighting, like HVAC, and so on, to ensure to have the same weather throughout the year. And we know right now we have summer, but the winter the sun drops dramatically, so we need to supplement it with lighting to ensure that the batch in winter time is the same like in the summertime. That means you have high investment into capex right at the get-go, and I can only recommend to invest into technology which is highly efficient, because in the case of lighting, you have old traditional light sources, which are high pressure sodium, HPS, which are cheaper to buy, but much more expensive to operate. And then we come with this to the OPEX topic. At the end, from my point of view, it's an OPEX game. I see it in all markets, in cannabis markets over time. Always the sales price of the cannabis goes down, and energy and stuff like that is more like going up. So you need to, right at the beginning, have your OPEX under control, and then you have also the return on investment. Just generally, you can expect that lighting, as an example, is like between 15 to 30% of your capex, and is next to in OPEX. The two main OPEX blocks are labor and energy, electricity.
And we know in South Africa, electricity costs are going up in orders of magnitude because of the state of Eskom, because of the way that the regulator is allowing cost-reflective tariffs to feed into tariffs that are going up at double, sometimes 3 times inflation. So that becomes a significant ongoing OPEX cost in your business. That brings us into this LED lighting conversation, because clearly that's where you can be a lot smarter, a lot more efficient. How exactly does LED lighting play a role in the various types of farming that we see? And we see in the Netherlands, for example, they've really revolutionized this technology, including cannabis.
Yeah, that's true. So right now, new customers, new project, no one asks for HBS anymore. So the old technology, it's we are beyond this time. So LED disrupted the old technology, and the reason is there are several reasons. So the first is LED is much more efficient. So you have your OPEX under control, and I mean with much more, 50% or higher. That is significant, and you will recognize this in your energy bill. The second thing is LED run much cooler. That means they don't produce so much heat. And in the case of South Africa, in the shoulder seasons, in spring and autumn, you still use lighting, but it's already hot. If you then put additionally heat all over your greenhouse, you need to get this heat away. And then you need to cool it down more. So that means the light source itself is cooler, reducing your spendings in HVAC. And then the last point, LED, you can put it in all different kind of forms. You can make a bar, you can make a full, panel shape, and this allows you to go, if you grow in a greenhouse, to put a light up in the ceiling of the greenhouse. But if you go into an indoor facility or into cloning racks, you can go very close to the plant. It's cool, and you can, give a uniform light. So you have a much more versatile, modular light source, which is cooler and more efficient. So that's why everyone is opting for this in all new projects, and including cannabis.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It gives you that flexibility. And, even in a country like South Africa, I can imagine some people saying and watching this and thinking, well, we've got so much great sunlight. Why do we even have to think about replacing that with LED? Well, back to your earlier point, if you want consistency, you need to be able to control conditions a lot more than just being able to rely on the vagaries of the seasons and the weather. So how do you forecast the use of LED lighting in farming in South Africa, given we're a country that has got a lot of agriculture, both large industrial and very small scale? How do you see the use of LED lighting and these techniques evolving in the country?
Yeah, so for cannabis specific, I see a high need of it. Because of what we discussed earlier, you need to ensure consistency, and especially so far, cannabis in South Africa, especially if it's exported, for example, to Germany. We have South African cannabis here in Germany. Yeah, German patients need the same product each and every time. So there, it's without discussion that you need to supplement lighting, yeah, to fill the gap in wintertime. And we do always analysis to understand the sunlight in each and every day of the year to then make a good lighting strategy to close this gap. And in other crops, it depends. I'm honest, it depends. It depends on your energy prices to supplement lighting in general. Yeah, if you need to supplement light because otherwise the plant would suffer and you cannot produce your crop consistently, then maybe. But I don't know so many South African greenhouse projects where they use supplemental lighting at all. So that's why it's more seasonal, and that is a good strategy. That said, if you find a solution to get cheaper energy, being not needing to get it from the grid, but to produce it by yourself, that could be a very interesting way of a business model. And then you will see it in the business case, and then LED would definitely be the weapon of choice here.
Yeah, that becomes a major competitive advantage given South Africa's major energy crisis and obviously the frequent load shedding that we have. In that context, how can the implementation of LED technologies in key industries like cannabis lessen this challenge of frequent load shedding?
Yeah, so I can give you an example of customers which we have in the Netherlands, but also Germany. So these growers, they have next to their greenhouse their own energy source. So it could be CHP, so combined heat and power units. It could be solar, or it could be thermal. So they produce their own energy. They have a dedicated company to produce this energy, and with that they have a very robust business case because they know their energy price every day and it does not fluctuate. It's clear, it's totally clear. That helps a lot to forecast and have a resilient business model. But additionally, they are connected to the grid. If they produce energy which they don't use, they give it back to the grid. And also on the other way around, they get money from the utility companies to take energy from the grid if there is stress. And then all of a sudden, and I'm standing in the greenhouse with this customer, it's a beautiful day, all of a sudden the LEDs go on. Because now the energy companies, they have stress on the grid, say, look, please, someone take the energy, and you can just put on the lights, burn this energy to get the stress from the grid. And so what is happening, the nice thing with LED, also sometimes the companies get paid money to get this energy. So what is happening, it's the LED modules are connected to the energy prices, and then you see that the lights go up and down, they dim. And this dimming and switching on and off easily, you can do only with LED. You cannot do it with traditional light source. And that is, so it's amazing to stand in such a greenhouse because you see like the sun with some clouds, it sometimes goes dim, up and down. It's a nice orchestra kind of, and very smart on energy. Very smart on energy.
Well, I wasn't aware just how useful LEDs are for system operators in managing the grid and managing the load. It shows, Timo, that together with your interdisciplinary team that you are supporting greenhouse growers and vertical farmers in over 20 countries across EMEA, and leading the photobiology research team as well. So with that, and given that wealth of experience, if viewers want to get hold of you, if they're interested in implementing some of these solutions, how do they go about getting hold of you to talk a little bit more about the Fluence technology solutions?
Yeah, that so I personally love to connect and exchange ideas. So I think with me personally, connect on LinkedIn. I always like to get directly in touch and discuss the different business cases or use cases. And then, of course, you can also connect with us, our company, Fluence, on our website, or also on social media, LinkedIn or Instagram, because I think pictures speaks more than 1,000 words, and we share a lot of pictures and customer stories. And then you can connect also to these customers and ask them, how did you do it? Because I think growers need to talk to growers. And I want to support to make this, matchmaking, whatever the challenge is, we can support to connect dots.
And in entrepreneurship, we obviously often use the word ecosystem, but I think in this sense, it's certainly very fitting to connect all the growers around the world. Reach out to Timo Bongartz, who's General Manager at Fluence Bioengineering. Thank you, Timo, very much for your time, for sharing a little bit more into this nascent green revolution that we hope to see sprouting across the country if government gets its act together around some of those rules and regulations for commercial cannabis growing in South Africa. Thanks for your time.
Michael, it was a big pleasure. Have a great day. Thank you.